Hello, my food mood friends. Welcome back. Chandra Zas, Zen Odyssey, food mood changes, made doable without missing out. Is that possible? Yes, it is. One of the coolest pieces that I think is in my program is when I get to propose to my clients about intermittent fasting. I've kind of been thinking about do I really want to do a podcast about this? Because then if one of my clients listens to it, they're going to know this piece, and then it's going to be because in the beginning, I don't tell them that there's going to be intermittent fasting. I don't tell them that's a part of what we do together, because there's all this lead up. There's all of these pieces that come before intermittent fasting. So I want to share them with you. So first, if you are on a normal diet and you try to intermittent fast, it's going to be very painful and excruciating. You're going to feel horrible and you're going to wonder, what the heck are all these people talking about, that fasting is so great and feels so good and you have all this energy and mental clarity? If you're on a normal diet and you try to intermittent fast, it's miserable. So don't try it. If you're breastfeeding or you're pregnant or you're a little kid, don't intermittent fast. These are not times to intermittent fast. It's actually really interesting why not to intermittent fast when you're pregnant or breastfeeding. Why is it? There's a couple reasons. One is you want to make sure that the baby's getting all the nutrients that it gets. So this is one piece. But the other really interesting piece is that when we intermittent fast, our body does its natural thing of releasing toxins. And when you're pregnant and when you're breastfeeding, you do not want to be releasing toxins, even though that is part of what we do when we have kids and when we're breastfeeding, is we are letting out of toxins, because toxins come out of our fat and our milk. But you don't want to increase it. You don't want to encourage any extra toxins. Babies are already getting tons of toxins from just being born. It's part of the work, how it processes. But as moms, we don't want to increase that toxin load, which is why I did not do any detoxing for 3 years, for being pregnant and then for breastfeeding for 2 years. And I have to say, I was missing detoxing badly. I was like, wow, I really miss going through those phases and the moments where I could feel my body releasing and detoxing. This might be too personal, but I'm totally going to share it. One of the things that I really missed when I was pregnant is I missed having my monthly cycle, because our monthly cycle is a natural way that our body detoxes. And when we're pregnant, our body doesn't let go. It doesn't detox. And wow, my first period or two, I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a long 9 months, which then turned into even longer, because the whole point of pregnancy is holding space and holding food and holding nutrients for our little one, holding our little one. It's a wild experience. So that was a total tangent, but I think really interesting and pertinent. So now that I've stopped breastfeeding, I have been playing with intermittent fasting. And I've been playing with intermittent fasting for partly because of my birth and having these 3 years where I didn't do any detoxing. And also because I had a C-section birth and I have a scar that has not totally healed, and I feel it from time to time and I know it can use some attention. So I'm doing intermittent fasting so that my body will have some extra energy to heal itself. This is one of the big benefits of intermittent fasting, is that it allows our body to have a rest of digestion, because it takes a lot of energy to digest foods. And especially when we're overeating and over consuming, and when we're eating a bunch of toxic stuff, it's that much harder for our digestion to process everything. So giving our digestive system a break allows energy for our body to go to work on other projects, other healing things, maintaining things that really keep our body in an optimal place. So I'm fasting for this reason, and I'm also using it to increase my productivity and my creativity with my daytime hours. The groove that I've gotten really into is fasting till around 2 p.m. and eating my first meal around there, which is protein and oils. and then continuing to work for another few hours. But the morning hours are like golden hours where I really have this really cool clarity and efficiency and productivity. So this is like kind of my side benefit. And yeah, I mean, we started, my man and I were really big foodies. We really love food, and we were eating 3 meals a day the first few years of our relationship. And then when we had our little one, we were just like, I mean, having a little kid is like this incredible time, attention, energy thing that I don't know if anyone can really expect. But it felt like we were cooking and eating all day long between the three of us. And so we kind of like, as a way to just get more time, we actually just cut out one meal. We're like, well, what if we just have like a brunch and a dinner? And that was like our first little tiny step to playing with intermittent fasting. And then it's come into this whole other arena and game of like really optimizing and feeling the benefits of not eating sometimes and not being hooked and needing food. One of the biggest things that a lot of people get really scared about with intermittent fasting is feeling hangry, is feeling like, well, I don't want to feel that horrible sensation in my body and this like craziness around food. And so this brings me back to like why I don't tell my clients about intermittent fasting is because when you are eating a normal diet and you try to intermittent fast, your body is in a state of being a sugar burner. So you're used to, your body's like default system is to be running and using glucose all the time and needing to eat glucose in order to like keep your energy levels up. But what happens when you're not eating a normal American diet, when you're going through my program and you break up with processed foods, you stop eating the sugars and the flours, done in a really easy way. It's not scary, it's not hard. Then what happens is that you're in this prime state to switch your body over into being fat adapted, into being a fat burner, so that your body is able to use the fat stores on your body regularly and easily so that you don't get that hangry, urgent, crazy feeling. So it's really cool. One of the ways my husband likes to describe it is metabolically flexible. So it's, you actually like, fasting becomes this really easy state where you're not hangry. Like the point is not to like go through this crazy experience of like fighting yourself. Like the point is to get your metabolism to this place where it's able to easily go. I like to call it like the freezer, like the fat on our body. We all have many meals on our body. That's energy that can be turned into glucose and then be used as fuel. But most of us have just trained our body to be used to going to the fridge and eating sugars all the time. So when you switch your body over into this other way of using fuel, it's like becomes quite like, I don't know, to me it feels like being like a bit of a like superhero rock star, like this independence with food that's like pretty mind-blowing. It's pretty like, I don't know, like a lot of people think about food changes, or they think about fasting and they think about like restriction and deprivation and like that it's going to be this like, yeah, restrictive, depriving experience. And for me, and what I'm watching my clients go through, and also my partner, is that you actually get through this like to this freedom place where you're like, I don't have to eat a meal right now. I'm going to be totally fine because my body is capable of like going to my fat stores and using my fat on my body. It's a really, really special experience. And, you know, most people think, oh, I'm going to suffer through it. And it's like, no, actually, you're going to feel like kind of amazing because of it. So yeah, this is like, I don't know. I also like, the other thing that I think a lot of people struggle with is thinking that eating healthy or food changes or intermittent fasting has this rigidity to it. And I have done a lot of rigid in my life. I've done a lot of like crazy ass cleanses, crazy ass diets, extremely restrictive. Like I've done that. And one of my big like missions is to be in like a really flowing and flexible state with my food. And that's what I also teach my clients. And so I don't have like, like set hours. Like I kind of choose according to how I want to feel in the day of how I eat. So like intermittent fasting, it doesn't have to be every single day. I mean, I know some people do it this way. They're like only eat between 2 and 6 every single day. I like to intermittent fast on the days that I work. And on the weekends, I like to kind of see what it is that our day is like. Like sometimes I like to like eat all day. Like on a Sunday, I want to have like some carbs and I want to have like some indulgences and I want to eat with my little one breakfast. So like it doesn't have to be every day. Like I'm in this really amazing food flow where I just get to choose, like, how do I want to feel today? How sharp do I want my brain? How clear do I want my belly? I also really love exercising on an empty belly. Some people think it's crazy to exercise without eating food, but what I found is it feels quite amazing. Like my exercise is really cool. I remember when we were climbing, we haven't been climbing recently, unfortunately, but like I also really love climbing on an empty stomach. I feel like I feel stronger, I feel more present, I feel lighter, I feel like my rock climbing is like really enhanced when I'm in a fasting state, when my body's using fat and it's not using energy to digest food. I can use all my energy in my body and my brain. It's really cool. My man he's been doing intermittent fasting longer than I have. He's been doing it for I think at least 2 years, maybe 3 years. And I've been a little bit jealous because I've been watching his journey, and his journey is really, really cool. And he just did a 3-day water fast. He has an elbow injury, and he was thinking that maybe it would help his elbow heal a little bit. And it was so cool to watch him because he didn't go through this big detox, like miserable, grumpy, sleeping all day, headaches experience, which is, I've watched a lot of people detox. I've worked at a detox center and I've helped a lot of people through detoxing. And often there is this phase of feeling really crappy. And it's generally the first 3, 4 days, 5 days sometimes, where people feel really, really shitty. But because he's been doing so much intermittent fasting and he's so metabolically flexible and he's also very healthy. He's like in this really cool optimized state of his health. But what like him going into this 3-day water fast, he was like breezed through it, like almost seemed like he was enjoying it. And it was so cool. And I was like, just looking at him, thinking about it, especially on day 3, I was like, wow, I was like, I think that all of the intermittent fasting he's been doing and the really peak state of health he's in has just allowed him to do this water fast like it's nothing. Like it's like was very easy for him. He's like, I think I might just do it like once a season. Like he's like very like, I don't know, it was really, really inspiring and cool to watch and witness. And yeah, fasting, I don't know if you have thought about fasting and you're considering it, but I want you to know that fasting can be really cool and it can be really fun and it can be really freeing. It's not what most people think about with fasting, but like that's what we're living, that's what we're experiencing. So I will definitely say that if you're eating sugar and flour regularly, you want to get off of sugar and flour first before you try fasting, because if you're in a sugar burner state where you're needing, like if you feel hangry, it means that you're a sugar burner. It means that your body metabolism is very connected to consuming calories in order to use glucose. So I don't recommend going from a normal diet into intermittent fasting. Like there are stages. It's actually what I do in my program, is I walk people through these stages. It's really cool. So that's my update. The last intermittent fasting thing I did was, I'm sure, very, very different than this one. Check it out. If it's something you're wanting to optimize, check it out. Check out some intermittent fasting. It's some cool optimizing stuff and useful. All right. Have a good day. Thank you very much.